the third temple. It's supposedly said that there will be a third temple that is going to be built in Israel. The question is, will it be rebuilt? And if so, when will it be rebuilt? Where will it be rebuilt? Let's talk about it.
That's right.
Okay, so the third temple, bro. The third temple, let me just break down first thing. What is this third temple? What does it refer to? So it's actually a reconstruction of the temple that's supposed to take place in Israel. And it's pretty much from back in the Bible time where they built other temples before that. And there were two that were built before that. Talk to us about
That's
that.
right.
When was the first one built?
Yeah, the first one was built with King Solomon,
Okay.
right? And you remember that in the Bible, actually, and it was actually destroyed by the Babylonians in 586 BC. So that's the first one.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about that temple?
Mm-hmm.
Is that that temple was actually built with no tools. That's what the Bible tells us.
Are you serious?
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
And it says it's the most magnificent building pretty much to ever be built.
That's crazy.
And it was built with no tools.
That's wild.
You can find that in the Bible. That's crazy how powerful that is. First temple.
That's right.
Okay, so the second temple,
Yeah,
where
the
is
second
that?
temple that was constructed after the Babylonian exile and was later expanded and renovated by Herod the Great. And this temple was destroyed by the Romans.
Okay.
Back in those days. Too,
Okay,
as well.
so here we have Herod the Great. He comes in, he builds that temple.
Yep.
Or he reconstructs it. And then Jesus actually prophesies about this where he says that the temple will be destroyed. And then that temple that was destroyed in 70 AD.
Yep.
Okay, so
That's right.
that's the second temple.
Yep.
Okay, so and then the third temple
Right.
which is what people are expecting to be rebuilt.
Exactly. A lot of Christians actually believe that. You know, they believe that there is a third temple that's going to be rebuilt. And one of the biggest reasons why they would like for that to happen is they have misconceptions of when it's rebuilt. They feel like, oh, the Antichrist is coming and he's actually going to sit on that third temple.
Yeah.
You know, there's other things.
So it's pretty much like a timeline where it's like, hey,
exactly.
in
that
this
Jesus
third
is
temple,
coming soon.
this is how we know Jesus is coming soon.
That's
This is
right.
where the Antichrist is going to sit.
That's
okay,
right.
so the Antichrist can't come until he sits on this temple.
Exactly.
We actually have an episode on the Antichrist. Check that episode out.
Yep.
Up here. Click that link. And you'll be able to see that episode as well.
Right. And a lot of people, you know, the sequence of events, you know, takes place. Like I said, the Antichrist will come into power. The rapture will take place.
Yeah.
By the way, we have a secret. The secret about the secret rapture. Check out that episode as well. It's powerful. And there will be a 7 years of tribulation. You know, Jesus will return, etc., etc., etc. And that's why this third temple is such a hot topic and such a, you know, going on right now, basically.
Yeah, and the third temple is mainly a lot of the beliefs come from like the Christian realm and also some Jewish realms as well.
Yep.
And so where do they get this idea from? My understanding is like a messianic prophecy, but where do they get this idea from? Talk to us about that.
For sure. It's actually found in Zechariah chapter 6 and verse 12 and 13. And it says, Zechariah 6 and verse 12 and 13, then speak to him, saying, thus says the Lord of hosts, saying, behold, the man whose name is the branch. This is talking about Jesus Christ. From his place he shall branch out, and he shall build the temple of the Lord. Yes, he shall build the temple of the Lord. He shall bear the glory and shall sit and rule on his throne. So shall he be a priest on his throne, and the council of peace shall be between them both. So even a lot of Christians even actually think that Jesus himself will actually build this temple.
Oh, wow.
Well. Yeah. Some people.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. So they think, you know, that Jesus is coming and that actually Jesus will build this temple as well. So there's a lot of, again, you know, speculations about the third temple. And that's why we kind of wanted to break it down to you guys today.
Yeah. Now, one of the biggest issues about this temple is that it's supposed to be built in the same location
yeah.
where the holiest of Islam
exactly
is built. Their building, and it's the Al Aqsa Mosque.
Yep.
And that is also a place where the Muslims actually believe that Muhammad ascended to heaven.
That's right.
So that's why that temple is there. So this is what brings a lot of tension and stuff between like Israel and Palestine and those different places, because it's like, oh, this is where the third temple is going to be rebuilt. But then it's like, oh, you're going to destroy our place to build yours?
Exactly. And that temple is currently under the Islamic like control.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And non-Jews are welcome there at all, like to even pray. And it's non-Jews are prohibited actually by the Israelite law. So in order for actually this speculation to happen, it's gonna be like a Hamas war part two times 10, basically. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost impossible that this is gonna happen, but they actually think that this will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's crazy. It's crazy. So again, some people believe that the rapture will take place, before the rebuilding of this temple, or during the rebuilding of the temple. All right, Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3 and 4, and it says, "Let no man deceives you by any means, for that day shall not come except there coming a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, that the son of man, the son of perdition, who opposes him and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worship." And this is where they got it from. "So that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." Right? So again, John 2 and verse 19, Jesus answered and said to them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." Then the Jew says, "It has taken 46 years to build this temple. And will you raise it up in 3 days?" Verse 21, Jesus says, "But he was speaking of the temple of his body." So there's a physical temple and there's a spiritual temple. I believe, what's taking place with the third temple and things like that is not more so of a physical temple, but more of a spiritual temple.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Yep.
well, not even just do I believe that. The Bible makes that pretty clear.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
So they have to understand that, because in that previous verse, Second Thessalonians 2, 3, and 4, we actually cover a lot of those, the son of perdition and all of that,
Yep.
in the Antichrist episode. Check that episode out again.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so this third temple, that's supposed to be built,
Yep.
is not a physical temple that's going to be built.
Spiritual.
Yeah.
Yes. But if you want to say it's a physical temple, we would submit to you that this is not the temple up in Jerusalem or Israel, but this is the temple of Jesus Christ, basically the Christian church. And let me prove that to you. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 19 through 22.
Yeah.
All right. And it says, "Now therefore you are no longer strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and members of the household of God, having been built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom the whole building temple being fitted together grows into a holy temple of the Lord, in whom you also are being built together for a dwelling place for God in the Spirit." So this is not talking about some, rebuilding temple in Jerusalem, but this is talking about the Christian church with Christ as the cornerstone.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So if you think otherwise, comment section below. We want to hear what you have to say. Maybe you're like, no, I can prove this. Hey, hit us up in the comment section below. But according to the Bible, what we have seen and what we've shown you is that it's not a temple that's going to be rebuilt on earth, physically speaking. Plus, you would also have to reason those other areas in those other scriptures that people use, like the son of perdition and who is that? Where does that come from? Check that out in the Antichrist episode. And make sure you hit that subscribe and notification so that you will be notified when we drop our next content. We'll see you until next time. Peace.